Learning the rhythm of another language is not necessarily an easy thing to do. That's why I've created this follow-up lesson on rhythm. I thought it would be helpful for you to have additional practice with stress and phrases and at the sentence level. We're going to begin by reviewing those rhythmic patterns I presented in Lesson 8, and then I'm going to share a couple new ones with you.
Here are the lesson objectives: to strengthen your understanding of rhythm at the sentence level, to strengthen your ability to read aloud with natural rhythm, to help you begin to apply rhythmic patterns in oral reading to free speech.
So if you're ready now, let's get started.
Remember pattern 1. When we speak in phrases and at the sentence level, we usually stress content words and not function words. Content words include nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, and numbers. Function words include articles, short prepositions, helping verbs, and most pronouns. Example: can we talk about hairstyles? It'll be fun, I promise. Exercise 1. Read the following 3 statements aloud. Try to identify and then stress all the content words. Finally, listen to the correct reading and repeat. If you need more time to read these statements, use the pause button. Now listen and repeat. 1. I've had long, straight hair for most of my life. 2. A simple hairstyle makes life easier. 3. I admit that I've had a few bad haircuts in the past. Remember pattern 2. When words are grouped into meaningful phrases or thought groups, there is usually one word that receives the most stress. That word is generally the final content word. Example: how would you describe your present hairstyle? Is it conservative? Do you think that your hairstyle reflects your personality? Exercise 2. Read the following text aloud. Try to identify the main groupings of words or thought groups, and then stress the final content word in each group. Finally, listen to my reading with the recommended rhythm and repeat. Again, if you need more time, use the pause button. Now listen and repeat. This is embarrassing. I admit the hairstyle was bad. Around 12 or 13, I cut my hair short. I don't know why. Let me make a quick note here about numbers. Numbers like 13, 14, 15, and so on have shifting stress, meaning it can be on the first or second syllable. Now when we count, the stress is on the first syllable. For example, 10, 11, 12, 13. In my text here, 13 is part of a phrase, and it's the last word in a phrase. It's the last word before a pause. In this case, we shift the stress to the second syllable. If 13 is not the last word in a phrase, then we tend to shift the stress back to the first syllable. So if I said I was 13 years old, stress is on the first syllable, 13 years old. Understand? Let's go on. Read Part B aloud as you think it should be read. Now listen and repeat. At this time, I think it was Princess Diana who influenced fashion. Perhaps this was a sorry attempt to look like a princess. Remember pattern 3. Instead of stressing each content word in a cluster, the speaker may choose to alternate the stress so that there is a more natural flow and rhythm. Example 1. Do you have many photos of yourself as a child? In this example, I did not stress the word many. Many is a content word, but because we had too many stressed syllables together, there's a better flow if many is not stressed. So the resulting rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Have, photos, yourself, child. Do you have many photos of yourself as a child? Number 2. I'll bet there are some you don't like to show to people. Here I did not stress the verb like, although like is a content word. The flow is a little more natural without stressing all those content words in the second half of the sentence. Now sometimes you can read a sentence with more than one pattern and still sound natural. For example, I could choose to stress in the second half of the sentence only like and people. The result would be like this. I'll bet there are some you don't like to show to people. That is at a very fast tempo because now I'm only stressing 2 content words in that final thought group. Both ways are natural and both ways are acceptable. Exercise 3. Read each statement aloud. Stress only those content words that allow you to keep a regular rhythm. Finally, listen to my reading with the recommended rhythm and repeat. Read statement 1 aloud. Now listen and repeat. As a little girl, I often wore pigtails. Here we did not stress wore. Read statement 2 aloud. Now listen and repeat. Around age 8 or 9, my hair looked rather wild. An alternative reading would stress only hair and wild in the second half of the sentence. The sentence would then have to be read at a faster tempo. Listen to the result. Around age 8 or 9, my hair looked rather wild. Both ways are acceptable, both ways are natural. Read statement 3 aloud. Now listen and repeat. When Jennifer was 15, curly hair was in. Here we did not stress hair. Here 15 is at the end of a phrase, so the second syllable is stressed. Also here, in is not a preposition, it's not a function word, it's an adverb, it's part of a phrasal verb, be in, so we're going to stress it because in is at the end of the sentence. It's at the end of a thought group. Remember pattern 4. Native speakers break normal rhythmic patterns when it's necessary to emphasize certain words. Doing so can contrast 2 ideas or clarify a misunderstanding. Example. Some people take a short amount of time to style their hair. Others take a long time. Here, the stressed words create a contrast. Exercise 4. Read each statement aloud. Try to stress those content words that either contrast 2 ideas or clarify a misunderstanding. Finally, listen to my reading with the recommended rhythm. 1. Read the statement aloud. Now listen and repeat. As a young girl, I experimented with hairstyles. Now that I'm older, I'm more conservative. 2. Read the statement aloud. Now listen and repeat. I'll share a few more photos, but nothing that's too embarrassing.
We're not done yet. Please go on to the next part of this lesson.